Nigerians, though of many tribes, and each with a different tongue. We stand united in our resolve to build, to defend, and to honor.
NTA International News.
Presidential Jobs Board swings into action towards creating 3 million jobs. Nigeria's First Lady donates ambulances to the Federal Medical Center, Yenagoa. Joint Health Sector Union promises to suspend ongoing strike after its NEC meeting. It's good to have you join us on NTA International News. I'm Taiwo Odugbeson. The Presidential Jobs Board, expected to swing into action by creating 3 million jobs, held its inaugural meeting Friday with Vice President Mohammed Namadi Sambo presiding. State House correspondent Hamza Musa Makafi now reports.
The Presidential Jobs Board, PJB, which has representation from the public and private sectors of the economy, was created to harmonize all initiatives that will guarantee jobs to Nigerians. The meeting resolved that expectations must be met.
There's no way, and given where I sit in government, everywhere I go there are jobs, many jobs. But the level of unemployment is high. The gap between jobs and unemployment is skills. So that is a critical factor. And that is why there's a pillar dedicated to that. And that is why for the first time in this country, we have commenced a survey, a national survey of skills gap in the country.
We believe in dignity of labor. We think that Nigerians deserve to be employed, and we're happy that we're working with the federal government, led by the President, the Vice President, the Minister of Trade Investment and his team, in making sure that this comes through. We believe we'll deliver on this.
It's a moral booster that no one is left out. It's all inclusive, that this administration has the heart for the real people who do the work.
Meeting to reconvene in next 2 weeks. From the Presidential Villa Abuja, I am Hamza Musa Makarpi, NTA News.
First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan has donated 2 ambulances to the Federal Medical Center Yenagoa Otuoke Annex in Bayelsa State. She said she's moved by the plight of patients, particularly women who need access to medical facilities. She said the NGO, Women for Change, decided to help as a way of contributing to the health sector. Board Chairman of the Federal Medical Center, Chief Lawrence Iroka, thanked the First Lady and assured her of the proper use of the ambulances. Sector Union Johesu has promised to suspend its ongoing strike after meeting with its National Executive Council. This is part of the resolutions reached at a reconciliatory meeting of all the stakeholders of health workers with the Supervising Minister of Labour and Productivity, Alhaji Kabir Turaki, permanent secretaries of the Ministries of Labour and the Ministry of Health, as well as the Chairman National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission were also in attendance. The meeting also agreed to follow due process in addressing the issues in dispute and that Johesu have the right to demand to be considered in salary adjustment, just like it was done for members of the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA. As elder statesman Edwin Clark has urged youths to see the building of politically and economically stronger united Nigeria as their duty. The elder statesman said this while receiving the officials of PDP word-to-word initiative in Abuja. Correspondent Edina Justice now reports.
group led by their national coordinator Kamal Kaka and EA's ambassador Joseph Jobo said they were in the house to intimate the elder statement of their objectives. Chief Edwin Clark, while acknowledging their efforts, emphasized that youths have everything to gain if they support President Jonathan's dream of a strong and united Nigeria.
There are times those government and the opposition parties will come together to see that the country moves up.
You and I are committed to what Mr. President is doing, and we believe in this country. We should be able to come together and help him. He cannot do these things alone.
The leader said the group comprises of young professionals across the Federation with human capacity development through empowerment and national development as main objective.
In this administration, I and my members will see the fact that, yes, value is being added to human resource that we have.
There's brought a lot of transformation in the sector where I come from, which is the sports sector. Not only in that, the president has done so much for our country, and I think he deserves his second term.
The group says they are in about 9,500 wards of the Federation. Edina Justice, NTA News.
Women's participation in Nigerian politics was the subject matter of discussion at a seminar in the British House of Commons to create more awareness on the importance of gender equality in politics to change public perception. From London, Hawa Yusuf Funtua reports that the Special Advisor to the President on Ethics and Values, Mrs. Sarah Jibril, was the special guest of honor.
Organized by the PDP UK chapter, the one-day seminar titled Democracy and Women in Politics attracted participants from a cross-section of the Nigerian community and some members of parliament who made various submissions on the subject matter. Special Advisor to the President on Ethics and Values noted the goodwill and consciousness of President Jonathan for supporting women participation in politics.
The women who wish to be in politics certainly cannot be self-centered.
Although the seminar was aimed at advocating for increased support for women participation in politics in Nigeria, speakers were unanimous in their resolve to stage a mock voting in 2015 to drive home their point in civic responsibility.
We need to bring back home this knowledge, this expertise, and it starts from being able to vote, to choose our leader.
A lot of things are obstacles against us in this Western world. If we can come here and succeed and be part of a voice, I think in Nigeria, where we are one, we can be able to do more than that.
From London, Hawa Yusuf Funtua, NTA.
And back home in Nigeria, Labour Party is poised to provide a level playing ground for all aspirants vying for political positions on the platform of the party. The chairman of the party, Alhaji Abdul Kadir Salam, said this while presenting nomination form to one of the aspirants in Abuja. Kemi Fakaye has the details.
According to the Salihu Muhammad-led 7-members caretaker committee, the Labour movement is concerned about the derailment of the Labour Party ideology and ready to reverse it.
The National Caretaker Committee has the mandate to reposition the Labour Party and convene a credible national convention that will produce leaders based on the ideals of the party.
However, the national chairman of the Labour Party, Abdul Kadir Abdul Salam, in reaction, warned of any distraction as the party is doing well, an effort to break up the party would not be allowed.
Those you see are not our members. We have nothing to do with them. Did you see any INEC member there? From which meeting did the 7 caretaker committee emerge? From no meeting. We have gone very far. Today, before you came, people have come to pick our file nomination from various parts of the country. On Monday, if you come here, you will see people returning their form throughout next week.
Labour Party has been in existence for 13 years. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayemiru, NTA News.
Few hours after the liberation of Mubi, President Goodluck Jonathan has restated the determination of the federal government to deploy all necessary resources to liberate all other territories occupied by Boko Haram insurgents. The president, represented by the Minister of State Power, Mohammed Wakil, made the assertion at the camp of the internally displaced persons in Maiduguri, during the flag-off of the empowerment training of 500 youths by the Presidential Initiative on Northeast. He affirmed that government is determined to tackle and defeat insurgency at all costs. Mohammed Wakil said federal agenda for the Northeast extends beyond ongoing military actions to measures designed to provide short, medium and long-term solutions to the overall challenges facing the region. The representatives of the state governor, Senator Ndume, said the state government appreciates the initiative. Also, chairman of the Presidential Initiative on Northeast, Professor Soji Adelaja, who represented the National Security Advisor, said the initiative is an intervention program designed to address the roots of conflicts in the region. About 500 youths benefited from the empowerment program alongside the distribution of relief materials to displaced people in the camps. This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. We earlier informed you that Presidential Jobs Board has met towards creating 3 million jobs. You also heard that the Joint Health Sector Union has promised to suspend the ongoing strike after its NEC meeting. Up ahead, is a review of major events in Nigeria in the outgoing week.
FRCN, NTA and VON annual service of 9 lessons in Christmas carols is here again.
The program, which started over 10 years ago in Abuja as a local carol night, has grown into a national affair.
It's an exhibition of classical and Nigerian Christmas songs and carols,
featuring spirit-lifting renditions and inspiring messages in celebration of the living Christ.
Celebrated groups like the Laz Ekweme Choral Group will be there.
Theme, celebrating the Prince of Peace.
Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja.
Date, Sunday, 14th December 2014.
Time, 3 p.m.
Message giver, Senior Pastor, Dunamis International Gospel Center, Dr. Paul Enenche.
For sponsorship details, call 0803-303-7678.
0803-704-3300.
Or 0802-722-2869.
Coming live on Radio Nigeria, NTA and Voice of Nigeria, Sunday, December 14, 2014.
The FRCN, NTA and VON annual service of 9 lessons and Christmas carols.
Making Christmas memorable for you.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
NTA International News.
The outgoing week was an eventful one that defined major political decision with the declaration of President Jonathan for the 2015 presidential race. Here is Nancy Godi Anonehu with this and other events on our weekend review.
Hello and welcome. Support for Goodluck Jonathan's second term in office took a tumultuous dimension on Tuesday when party supporters from all nooks and crannies of Nigeria gathered at the Eagle Square, Abuja, to witness the president's declaration. The president highlighted his administration's achievements, but not without its challenges, of course.
We have collectively done so much in the last 3.5 years, but to take our country to the next level, there is still more work to be done.
And to their delight, the president made the declaration.
After listening to the calls of our people nationwide to run, I, Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan, have accepted to present myself.
Sequel to the presidential declaration, Vice President Mohamed Namadi Sambo led a powerful delegation comprising key political leaders and supporters to return nomination and expression of interest forms to PDP headquarters on behalf of President Jonathan. The Vice President, accompanied by the Senate President, other members of the National Assembly, ministers, SGF, and governors, said the event is a testimony of President's achievements and commitment to sustaining quality leadership in the years ahead.
On behalf of Mr. President, and on behalf of all Nigerians that we are all gathered here today, for me and for us to all together present and submit the completed expression of interest form and nomination form to forward to the National Organizing Secretary of Mr. President for the presidential election. Thank you.
Now, contrary to speculations that Abdul-Jalil Tafawa Balewa has withdrawn from the presidential race on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the aspirant says he is still in the race and promised to consolidate gains made in the petroleum sector.
You never heard me say that. I was invited to Baba Ike Clark's house, Dr. Abdul-Jalil Tafawa Balewa and Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, that they're his sons and he was going to mediate. The press asked me, what do I have to say? I told them that this was not my press conference.
This means the PDP presidential primaries will be between Abdul-Jalil and President Jonathan. Now, within the week, INEC suspended the creation of additional polling units until after the 2015 general elections. The commission, in a statement, indicated that it would relocate units from unsuitable locations as much as possible to ensure that they are located in enclosures such as classrooms rather than open spaces. This, the Commission says, is in response to controversy trailing the creation of additional units that has been overheating the polity and the apparent inadequacy of time for the exercise. Two very shocking bombing incidents occurred in schools in the week in review. The one on Monday at Government Science Technical College, Potiskum, Yobe State, where a suicide bomber dressed in school uniform entered the morning assembly, killing 49 students and injuring 79. Another was on Wednesday at Federal College of Education, Kontangora, Niger State, by a female suicide bomber, which led to the death of a female 300-level student who died on the way to the hospital. In an instant reaction to these, the Senate again urged the federal government to mobilize all human and material resources towards putting an end to the reign of terror in some parts of the country, occasioned by the Boko Haram insurgents. President of the Senate, David Mark, who renewed the appeal at the commencement of Wednesday's plenary, said Boko Haram has declared war on Nigeria and therefore only fire for fire can contain the situation.
Clearly, Boko Haram has declared war on this country, and we must fight this war with all the resources at our disposal. There is no half measure in it. It's not a matter of state of emergency anymore. It is a total war.
The Senate, in spite of observing a minute silence for victims of the terror, summoned the Chief of Defense Staff and Chief of Army Staff for explanations. The explanations came by way of assurance to Nigerians, particularly those in the northeast, that all the lost territories to the Boko Haram insurgents will soon be reclaimed and normalcy returned in the areas.
I want to continue to rekindle the confidence of Nigerians, and particularly the ordinary Nigerians who have suffered the pain of this insurgency, that the Nigerian army will continue to do its best and strive to winning this war and reclaiming the lost territories.
In a similar vein, The National Task Force on Small and Light Weapons, in collaboration with the Nigeria Police, demonstrated its readiness to rid the country of arms trafficking and proliferation, which account for heightened insecurity in the nation. The team discovered an armed cartel in Kogi State and handed it over to the police with optimism that the war must be won.
And calling all security agencies to collaborate with the National Task Force, because we have all the capacity to solve 60% of the insurgency in Nigeria.
Now, in an effort to ensure that only the guilty is punished, the Nigerian army has released more suspected Boko Haram detainees. There are 125 found to be innocent after thorough investigations and handed over to Borno State government.
Nobody will say these gentlemen were tortured or were ill-treated or were not well-kept, were not well taken care of. So this is an opportunity for us to showcase the positive aspect of our society.
Some cash and clothing materials were given them with a charge to return to their normal business. Meanwhile, Catholic bishops in Nigeria, worried by the frequent terror attacks resulting in loss of innocent lives, sought audience with the President, Jonathan. Led by the Catholic Archbishop of Jos and President, Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, the delegation was satisfied with President Jonathan's assurances.
Mr. President is already doing his bit. He has assured us he's on top of the situation.
The bishops solicited collaboration for effective distribution of relief materials to displaced persons. In another development, First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan was special guest at Adoration Ministries Enugu, a congregation that seeks the face of God and prays for the nation. The Reverend Father Mbaka raised many issues, among them the abducted Chibok schoolgirls.
We are not stopping because we want him to go back. Even if you don't come here, we keep praying for him. Because the first one we did, we were not here.
Still on the Nigeria's First Lady, her NGO, the Women for Change and Development Initiative, has continued to distribute empowerment materials to women. This time, it is the turn of Bayelsa State, in line with the organization's objective of providing platform for women to fulfill their goals and aspirations.
If you love me and Mr. President, this is the time to show it.
Turning to the health sector, the high birth rates of HIV-positive patients and babies in Nigeria has warranted the launch of the National Initiative for the Elimination of Mother-to-Child Transmission of the disease. Represented by Vice President Namadi Sambo, the President said he will remain committed to protecting Nigerians against the pandemic. With that presidential promise and a ray of hope, I hand you back to the newscaster.
Many thanks to you, Nancy. We earlier told you that Labour Party is poised to provide a level playing ground for all aspirants vying for the political positions on the platform of the party. The chairman of the party, Alhaji Abdulkadir Salam, said this while presenting nomination form to one of the aspirants in Abuja. Kemi Fakeye reports.
Alhaji Abdulkadir Salam said whoever chose the party's platform makes the right choice, as the party belongs to all Nigerians. He said so far about 250 aspirants have obtained forms for various positions.
We will insist on one man, one vote, one woman, one vote, one youth, one vote, so that we carry the flag, the banner, into the government house.
Meanwhile, a former gubernatorial candidate in Delta State, Chief Grace Ogboru, has joined the race again for 2015.
We will do everything possible to ensure that we deepen the quest for democracy in Delta State and by extension Nigeria, to deepen the understanding of social justice, and to make sure that at the end of the day, we shall only do those things that will promote the ideals for which the Labour Party is best known for.
Screening of aspirants is scheduled for the 5th of next month. In Abuja, Kemi Fakeye, NTA News.
Away from political matters, China commits more medical personnel in the fight against the virus in Africa. Plus, the G20 summit opens in Brisbane, Australia. Details with Chukunonso Umo.
4 more teams of Chinese medical workers and health experts from the People's Liberation Army left Beijing for West Africa on Friday to join in the fight against Ebola. Chinese Vice Premier Li Yandong, while seeing the team off, encouraged them to do a good job in defeating the disease in Africa. They are expected to provide training for local medical workers, community leaders, government staff, students, and volunteers in Liberia and Sierra Leone. And the G20 summit got underway on Saturday in Brisbane, Australia. Declaring the summit open, the Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott called on world leaders to deliver on promises of global growth and job creation.
Growth has been fragile, but the message that should come from us over these next 2 days is a message of hope and optimism. Yes, we want freer trade, and we will deliver it. Yes, we need more infrastructure, and we will build it. Yes, we are embarked on a series of important structural reforms.
Issues of climate change and global security concerns in Ukraine and the Middle East are expected to top the agenda at the summit. Chukunon Somo, NTA News.
And for what Saturday's weather will look like in some Nigerian and world cities, let's check out the forecast. That was Sunday's weather forecast. I beg your pardon. And that wraps up the news. Thanks for watching. I'm Taiwo Odugbeson.
Fascinating Nigeria.
Africa's biggest market. Extraordinary. Fascinating. Nigeria.
It's up to us. All of us. The safety of our communities is in our hands. The police need our help and support. Boko Haram threatens our lives, our future, our country. But Nigeria belongs to us. God has blessed us with this rich land.